Alright everyone, it's Fam here again for MTGOntario, and this is the first video that I'm going to be making from Japan. As some of you may already know, PT Nagoya was a couple weeks ago, and I made day two, but I finished in only the top 100. Unfortunately, I couldn't make top 64 or top 50. Um, the deck that I chose to play was a mono red control deck, and that was the deck that Nassim Katita and I decided to play, and we pretty much hammered out the 75 cards that we were going to play the day before day one, and pretty much left drafting up to practice. We drafted about a couple of times before heading into day one, and I've drafted several times when the set had first come out as well during the pre-release, the release event, and local draft to the drop event at the University of Toronto Magic Club and at 401 Games in Toronto. Um, so because of PT Nagoya, I actually decided to come to Japan a week earlier and establish myself. And I actually have settled in and moved in here in Japan, and I currently live in Nishinomiya City, in which is basically a suburb between Osaka and Kobe, because it's the suburb that's closest to the university that I'm going to here for graduate school. Starting in September. So I'll be attending that university. It's called the Kwansei Gakuin University, and I will be attending it for a Master's of Business Administration program, which is a 2 year long program. So I should be here for at least 2 years, starting in September. So I just kind of wanted to make this video. This is just the beginning, the introduction of a draft video, which will probably just be added on top of the regular draft video. And there's been a couple of things in the news lately, aside from my move to Japan, Magic related, and the biggest thing is the banning of Jason the Mind Sculptor and Stoneforge Mystic in the current standard format. And I can't say that I'm surprised, but because yeah, the format was getting very stale and very bland. People were getting pretty bored and upset with the way things were going. Even with the inclusion of new phyrexia, it didn't really change much. If anything, they were trying to dumb it down a little bit. But the cards that they put in to sort of control Cobblade didn't really have as great of an impact as they thought it would. So as a result, the deck was still as good as it was, if not better, with the inclusion of cards like Sword of War and Peace and Batterskull. Even though some new decks emerged, like the Splinter Twin combo decks, the Cobblade metagame was still pretty much the same way it was before. Cobblade was still pretty much the deck to beat, if not like the only deck you should really play in that metagame. So it was called for an emergency banning in order to let other decks exist, really, so that they could come out and like have their day, have their moment in the sun. And now decks that were seemingly pretty much like impossible to play because of Jace the Mind Sculptor or for whatever reason, cards like Phyrexian Obliterator can now actually see constructed play, because you don't want to actually just play your 4 mana card and then all of a sudden it just gets bounced to Chase the Mind Sculptor, and it just completely negates your card. So basically now the format has a chance to evolve. Although I question really how much they really needed to ban like these two cards. I understand how powerful they are in conjunction, but what if, for example, they banned one of the cards? For example, would if they banned just Jace the Mind Sculptor, would Stoneforge Mystic as a card be too strong still? I mean, I could see how a deck like Boros, for example, which is basically a Cobblade deck without Jace, could like take over the format as well. But on the other hand, like if you just took out Stoneforge Mystic, would Jace the Mind Sculptor be that great just by itself without having its little buddy on turn two? But then again, I mean, Jace the Mind Sculptor was in decks that didn't have Stoneforge Mystic and the Cobblade combos as well. Decks like the Splitter Twin combo and so on. So I could see how having to ban both was probably the most correct decision that Wizards had to make. Anyways, that's pretty much my opinion on it. I wasn't like too shocked when I saw the news, and in fact, I actually don't really care that much because I'm not really playing standard at the moment. I just got off a PT where the format was block. I wasn't playing either of these cards in that format. And the next event that I have on my schedule, aside from like pre-releases and so on, is Grand Prix Shanghai, which is going to be M12 sealed. And again, like I don't really have to worry about these cards until then. The next constructed format that I actually see in my future is Grand Prix Hiroshima, which is in October. And by that time, like a whole second set will come out after uh, M12. So I really don't see a big reason for me to like be concerned about the format at this moment. I can understand that your local player who plays at their FNM, who plays at their local store at Type 2 can be really excited about this, but that's just the main reason. I'm just explaining my non-excitement about this whole situation. So that pretty much just wraps up my introduction before this draft video gets started. If any of you guys were interested in seeing some videos that I have uploaded to my Facebook channel, or sorry, my Facebook page, my Facebook page currently has videos of some post Pro Tour shenanigans at a pro player party that we had the day after day 3, I believe, after the Pro Tour was finished. And there's some pretty funny videos up there. There's also a video of my home here in Nishinomiya, and it just sort of like gives you an idea of what the living conditions are here in Japan. I wouldn't say that the most glamorous or the best examples of how people live here because I'm one person living in a single room. So I mean, even though the video sort of illustrates certain aspects of Japanese life here, not every Japanese person lives like the way I do. Mainly just because I'm a student and I'm living alone. So that's just about it. If you want to see any of those videos, and I also have some photos in albums on my Facebook channel as well. I'll just post the links down below, and you guys can most likely be able to see that, even if you're not friends with me, because I should have made them public. If not, then just add me as a friend on Facebook. Just send me a message when you add me saying, I'm one of your subscribers on the MTGOntario YouTube channel, and I'll just add you on, no problem. That's about it for now. So I'm gonna get right into the draft video, and sorry for taking so long. So yeah. Alright, we're into the draft right now. It's taken a long time to fill up the queue. The main reason I think is because, I'm playing on Japan time. Right now it's almost 9 in the evening here, and we're 13 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time on the North American side of, or the east coast of the North American side. So right now it's probably only almost 8 a.m. there. So there's not too many players, but it looks like it's filling up soon. Well, okay, there we go. Fired off here. So first look at this pack. Let's see. Unwinding Clock. Not very exciting. Shrine of Burning Rage is a nice one. Blinding Soul Leader and Artillerize are also pretty decent cards here. At the moment, we got 2 red cards. Oh, also there's a Geth's Verdict and a Mortis Dog, but the black cards aren't very exciting. I think the pick comes down to either Shrine of Burning Range, Artillerize, Blinding Soul Eater, and possibly even Pristine Talisman. Blinding Soul Eater I look at as a colorless card. Obviously it's better in a white deck, but even in a non-white deck it's still fine. It's not the worst card. Shrine of Burning Rage is a good card. It pretty much gives you a lot of good value right off the bat. Artillerize is one of those cards where it just gets better in numbers. Like if you have a couple of them in your deck can just be like insane. It's like drafting what's the card I'm thinking of? Shrapnel Blast back in the old Mirrodin set, but obviously it's a little bit more flexible but costs more. I personally like to lean towards something like Blinding Soul Eater, so I also don't really like Artillerize all that much, so I'm going to take that here and see how that works out. Alright, so this pack, we got quite a few options here. We got Wing Splicer, which is a basically 4 mana 4/4, and one of your creatures has flying. Um, Porcelain Legionnaire, which is also sort of like another colorless card. Um, and I mean, obviously, again, it's better in a white deck, which could go really well with our Blinding Soul Eater. Couple of weak blue cards. Blind Zealot, which is alright. Grim Affliction, which is a pretty solid black removal spell, and goes very good in like an infect-based strategy. Force Worship's another decent white card. This pack's a pretty hard. There's a lot of cards here that I can take, and I don't think there's an absolutely clear decision here. Like, I think it's either the Grim Affliction or the Wing Splicer that stands out the most at me. At the moment, I kind of like to go with the Flyer here, just because like I like blue-white flyers as a strategy, and black is a decent color to go into. But at this point, I think the Splicer is the best value. I'm gonna take that and see what comes to me. Okay, so at this point, if we took the Grim Affliction in the last pack, Glistening Oil might like stand out as a pretty good value card here, but all things considered, I kind of want to disregard it right now, just because there's a lot of other cards that we have for us. Mind Culling is one of those cards that I really, really, really fell in love with when this set first came out. It's a card that people don't really value that high, but it can produce very good situations for you. Like I've been on the receiving end and the giving end of this card so many times. Like I've been blown out and I've blown people out with this so many times, just because of the inherent card advantage and the swinginess that it can produce. But on the other hand, Spire Monitor is one of those first pick cards, and I think Mind Calling is a card that might come around, although unlikely, but it's possible. I've seen it happen. The rest of the cards in here, I mean, something like Lost Leonin is something to consider if it comes back later, but at this point I think I'm going to pick up the Spire Monitor and see what happens. If we get any of the white Infect cards coming back, then we might consider it, especially if we see something like Blinding Agent later on. But anyways, looking at this pack, what's this? Omen Machine. Yeah, that doesn't look very good. I've never actually played with that card, but I can't see it being that great, especially at 6 mana that doesn't really affect the board. Yeah, I don't see how that works very well. Here, Gets Verdict Morris Dogs, like our first pack. Seems like a print run that happens a lot. None of those cards are exciting, and we're sort of in blue, maybe white here. There's no clear white card, there's no clear blue card to take in this pack. Shrine of the Limitless Power is an alright black card, but again, like there's a lot of black cards here. There's a Despise in this pack, which again, it's not that great. It's okay. I think the best card here is the Sickle Slicer, just because it's a Grey Ogre, and it has a good value later, so I'll take that here, and it still keeps us open. We're pretty much only in blue. And let's look at this pack. There's not a whole lot to go on here either. There is a Blind Zealot, a Vapor Snag, which is in our color, Mutagenic Growth, which is basically colorless, another Shrine of Limitless Power, Razor Swine. I think it's like the second one we saw. It might be something to consider if we want to move into like that kind of like into red, but considering we passed Artillerize and Shrine of Burning Rage, I kind of want to avoid red at this point, especially for pack 2, so I'm not going to consider that too much here. Maybe Forced Worship, but at this point, I'm not exactly sure if I want to commit to white. So I'm going to take the Vapor Snag because it's a decent tempo card, and we can do some shenanigans with Wing Splicer and stuff like that. So I'll take that here and try and stay open. And let's see. So we got another Vapor Snag. Oh, another Blinding Soul Eater, which is a really good signal for us at this point. But white probably is open for us. We didn't see too much white, but the fact that we saw Blinding Soul Eater come this late, I think we can't ignore it at this point. We're looking to go into white, but again, I didn't see any strong signals. The rest of this pack has some not so exciting cards. Apostle's Blessing is alright. Parasitic Implant is alright. Vapor Snag. But the rest of these cards, yeah, it's not that exciting. I'm going to take the Soul Eater here and see what we get in the next pack. Alright, so I haven't seen any Blinding Agents yet, so I'm not really sure if I want to pick up like a Lost Leonin, because I'm not sure how good the white Infect strategy is going to be for us at this point. I probably want to keep shipping it along. Something like the Loxodon Cohort is probably worth considering, or sorry, it's not Cohort, it's Convert. The Loxodon Convert is worth considering because it's a 4-mana 4-power creature, which is not the worst in this format. So I think it's probably a slightly better than the Lost Leonin, especially because we're probably not going to be in an effect strategy. So yeah, I'm fine taking this here. And there's another one of those guys, but again, I think same reasoning. We probably don't need it here. But the question is, do we need anything else in this pack? The Chain Throat Seeker is obviously worse than the Lost Leonin for us. So, I mean, I guess we could take it. I kind of, like looking at this pack, I kind of don't want to play against the Death Hood Cobra, because if we go into like a blue-white sort of flying evasion strategy, this guy could be a big problem for us. Yeah. I'm probably just going to hate draft this guy at this point and not have to want to deal with that instead of taking a card that we're most likely not going to play. So, at this point, there's nothing really that great for us. We could take a Phyrexia's Core because it could generate us some minute gains in the late game, but a Phyrexian Hulk is not the worst. I've played my share of Phyrexian Hulks in some of these drafts, so I'm fine with taking this here. The rest of these cards are not that great. Nothing very exciting here again either. There's a Crawlworm, there's a Bat, there's a 3/6, there's a 2/3. I mean, I guess we could take the Numbing Dose. It's not very good, but at least it cuts off our color. And there's a lot of these Lost Leonins going around. I guess that we could have went into this if we took all of the Lost Leonins, but at this point, I don't really care. And the other guy can have it, I guess. What is this? That doesn't. Yeah, I don't care. I guess I'll take the Ogre Menial because it kind of clogs up the ground a bit. Nothing really great here. I'll take the Shrine of Limitless Power because I don't like playing against it. 3/1 is a reasonable creature, so I'll take that out. And yeah, this card's not very good. I thought this card was good at the beginning, then I like converted mana cost, and I was like, yeah, this card's not so great. So let's hide those. So this moment, we're still not that committed to white. We have one actual white card. So things to consider for the next pack. The cards I want to see are Leonin Sky Hunters, so I can move into white here. But at this point, like we have two Soul Eaters. We could probably still go white at this point, but there's nothing like really pushing us to go white. Alright, what do we got here? We got Titan Forge, we got Kuldotha. What's this guy again? Kuldotha Flame Fiend, that's it. Leonin Sky Hunter, Divine Offering, Titan Shrike, Nurok Commando, Steel Sabotage, bunch of decent cards here. The question is, if we pick up the Flame Fiend, which is, I think, the best card in this pack, can we go red? I mean, we passed so many red cards pack 1, and there's a good chance that the person to our left and probably to his left are both in red. Considering we passed, was it Artillerize and Shrine of the Burning Rage? I mean, they're not that insane. Like, Artillerize, I could probably see going a couple picks down the road, but I don't think there was much else in that pack other than the Blinding Soul Eater that we took. So I kind of want to avoid red here. The Flame Fiend feels like a trap if I take it here. And I was looking for the Sky Hunter anyway, so I don't see a reason not to take it here. It's pretty much like the Sky Hunter, the offering, but I want to go like an aggressive flyer strategy, so I'm going to take the Sky Hunter here, and hopefully that pans out well for us. Okay, so now we've come across a pick that I really hate to make because although there's a Serum Raker in this pack, which is a card I really like from this pack, but there's an Anatomist as well. An Anatomist is one of those like blue cards that are ridiculously powerful. Like it doesn't seem as powerful as it's made out to be, but it's actually very game swinging. Having this guy out for more than one turn can usually just change the tide of a game completely in your favor. So I think there's no reason why I don't take it here. I'm sad to pass up the Serum Raker, unfortunately. Like I really wish I could take it here because it fits our flyer strategy perfectly. But again, I don't think I can pass the Anatomist, so I'm going to take it here. I'm going to sort things by cost here and see what we got to work with. Alright, so this pack is not very exciting for us. We have no white or blue cards in here. The only thing that really stands out as a card we can take is a Peace Strider, which is not that exciting. Cards to note, maybe Phyrexia and Rager and so on, but this pack is pretty bland. Like I'm not sure if it's the first or second Septic Rats we saw, but that's also something to remember. Whoever has Infect deck might have like a pretty powerful curve if they have a bunch of these guys. But I could be wrong. This could be the first one I saw. So Tangle, was this guy? Tangle Mantis? Yeah, Tangle Mantis is another card to remember, as, the Dinosaurs deck really likes those guys, so kind of pay attention to how many of those we're passing. But yeah, the only card for us here is the Peace Strider, so I'm just going to pick that up here. Another Peace Strider. Again, no real blue cards that are worth noting here. And the Ardent Recruit. The Viridian Claw is pretty good, but I mean, if we're going to an invasion strategy, I'm not sure how good it is. I mean, I guess it's a very decent card overall, anyways, and I don't think we need that many Peace Striders. I mean, it's like dorky 4-drops, and we have like a couple already, so we'll probably just like pick up some later if we needed to. I'll take the Claw at this point because it's a solid piece of equipment, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up some more smaller creatures to fit our curve. I really, really wish we could have taken that Serum Raker at this point because it doesn't look like more of those blue cards come. So, at this point, we have to either pick something like Neura Commando, which is not exciting. Mirror Spy, also not that exciting. Copper Carapace, again, another cheap equipment that's fine. It's not great. I don't really like this pack at all. I wish I was like sort of in green at this point because I was thinking all these green cards come from the left, but yeah, that ship sailed. I think I'll pick up the Copper Carapace here. Not the worst, and maybe something like Mirror Spy will come around anyways, so I don't feel like I'm missing much by passing a Mirror Spy. Oh man, these packs are pretty bad. Other than like the first couple that we had from that we opened this pack. So, I guess as way of dorky 4-drops go, I guess we can pick up our Bladed Sentinel here. I don't feel like we're going to be that metal-crafted to get the Rhino, and even if we did, I don't really like the Rhino. Like, I'd rather just play the Phyrexian Hulk because it's probably better value for us overall, unless we just pick up all artifacts in the later packs. Then I'll feel a little dumb, but again, I don't feel that bad passing up a Rhino. I'll take the Sentinel here. It's a pretty late Rot Wolf. I don't really know what to make of this. I thought, there'd be a couple Infect players, but I mean, clearly, like, people to our left are not really an Infect, but it's a good chance that people to our right are, because we didn't see that many Infect cards pack 1. But then again, like, there's not that many great Infect cards in New Phyrexia, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. I actually haven't drafted Infect in a long time, now that I think about it, but anyways. I don't think we need another Copper Carapace, because that feels a little bit overkill. Psychosis Crawler, not that great. I guess I take Choking Fumes. Actually, Oculus is a flying card. It's not the worst. I'll take it here. Maybe we'll get one of those Vivisections back, then we'll have good value out of it. This pack's pretty mediocre. We got a choice between a 5-mana 3/4 and a 5-mana 3/5, but this one can attack and pumps our guys, so I guess we can take that one. Virulent Wound is another card to remember, because that's pretty late for this card. I mean, unless this pack was really good or something, but I'll take the Partisan here. This is our initial pack, I think. Fine Strike's kind of late here. I wonder who actually picked up those Losionins, but I mean, maybe no one did and they just got caught off, and this guy can just keep going around. Pack's not that great. Neura Commando is not that exciting. We'll take a dorky 4-drop maybe. I think we're okay on 3-drops, so actually I'll take the Commando. See how that works out for us. Yeah, the Mirroring Spy came back. So I'm okay taking that here. Tangle Angler or Tangle Mantis versus Exploit Golem. This is 1 mana more, but you get 3 more toughness than your Phyrexian Hulk. Oh no. I'm just gonna take the Mantis here and cut that off from somebody. I guess take Turn the Tide. We might play it. It's not the worst trick, and when it works, it works. Okay, we're probably not gonna play 2 of them. I'm gonna hide them for now though. This is a Golem. Sweet. This could get flying. That would be sick. Alright, what do we want pack 3 here? We want Flyers. We want 4 mana, 5 mana Flyers in this pack. Probably some Glinthawks and Glinthawk Idols if possible too. See, maybe Kemba Sky cards too. Is that too much to ask? Nim Deathmantle, Mirror Smith, Tumble Magnet. Wow, this pack is loaded. Holy Jesus. All right then. All right, let's take a good look from right to left here. Nim Deathmantle, very good card, stands out right away. Mirror Smith, Golem Artisan, both cards we want. Oxus Scrapmelter, probably don't really want it. Could splash it. Probably not going to, considering the power level of this pack. Tumble Magnet, very strong. Glidhawk Idol, we were wanting that. Kemba Skyguard, Gold Mirror. Man, this pack has so many cards for us. I think something like Kemba Skyguard might table, so we might get lucky there. I'm not really sure how good Mirrorsmith is in this pack, in our deck, because we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 artifacts. It's not going to be that good. So I'm looking at either the Golem Artisan, the Glidhawk Idol, and Tumble Magnet here. I'm gonna say that I want to go with a quick aggro flying strategy, and I think Glidhawk Idol is what I want out of this pack. I feel like I really want to take the Golem Artisan or the Nim Deathmantle, but I don't think our deck's going to have time. Like, from what I want to build, I don't think our deck's going to have time to mess around with like late game big bombs like that. We just want to beat down as fast as possible and fly over our opponents. So I'm going to take that here. Jeez. Okay, so this pack's got Heavy Arbalist, Glimmer Post Stag, or Glimmer Point Stag, Chrome Steed, Neurok Replica, Bladed Pinions for us. Honorable mention to Galvanic Blast, which we could splash, but not looking to splash at this point because there's a lot of options for us. Something like Neurok Replica might come back, probably not, but I'm probably looking at something like Heavy Arbalist or Glimmer Point Stag right off the bat here. Glimmer Point Stag probably has decent value in our deck because it can reset like a Wing Splicer or one of our living weapon, well, our only living weapon actually. But the Heavy Arbalist is another card to consider because we could pick up like a Soliton late. But at this point, I'm not really considering Chrome Steed because we don't really have that many artifacts. So, I mean, with the Glidhawk, I would pick up last one. We had 9, we'd have 10. Yeah, I don't really think it's worth it. Picking up the Glimmer Point Stag here seems fine. I'll feel a little bit sad if we get past the Soliton, but what are you going to do? There's no Solitons, so yet. Well, at least not yet. So here we got Necropede, Wall of Tanglecord, and Neurok Replica. Wall of Tanglecord goes down a little bit in value considering we're not in green, and I'm not really willing to splash it just to play Wall, or Wall's second ability, so, or, yeah. So I guess the pick comes down to Neurok Replica or Necropede. A Quarter Shield is also a fine card here, but I don't really want to take it at this point. We could probably wheel it or get it later in another pack. So it's really pretty much between Neurok Replica and Necropede. I think Necropede fits our curve a little bit better because we considering we have a few things at 3 already. Neurok Replica is a solid man though, but Necropede fits the curve better, and it's also just as defensive as Neurok Replica can be. So I think taking Necropede here is decent value. So I'm going to pick that up here. And alright, so this pack, unfortunately, doesn't have much for us, but it has a ton of Infect cards. And that concerns me a little bit, but I guess that means no one was really drafting Infect down the line. We've got Plague Stinger and Ichor Clawmere, which are probably the best, one of the two best 2-drops in Infect, at least out of this pack. Ichor Rats and Telgelad Fallen, which are also very good cards in Infect into this pack too. So I'm not really sure what to do at this point. There's nothing really for us, so it's either we could take a sideboard turn aside, which is not that exciting. I'm going to take out the Plague Stinger because I don't want to have, 1, for them to have a really good flying Infect creature, and 2, waste for them to block our flying creatures. So I'm going to take that out. Okay, so there's a Slice and Twain here, and a Grafted Exoskeleton, and there's nothing really that exciting that stands out. The card for us here is Disperse or Halt Order. Disperse stands out a little bit more because it's a better tempo card, and goes well with our Vapor Snag as well. Halt Order is a sideboard card, which we might be able to pick up later. Anyways, it's not that exciting. Even if we don't, I'm not really going to beat myself up over shipping a Halt Order. So yeah, I'll take the Disperse here. Okay, so we got a Seachrome Coast, which is in our card, but the Glidhawk in here is actually pretty good value considering we have a bunch of cheap equipments that we could reset or that we could replay with our Glidhawk. Something like Sickle Slicer. Yeah, I think taking the Glidhawk here is fine. And this pack again has nothing for us. I guess take out the Telegelad Fallen because that could prove to be useful against us. Probably not, but there's only real card in this pack worth considering to take, so yeah. Alright, well there's a Soliton, and this is the last point in the draft where I could actually take the Soliton. I don't think the Heavy Arbals is coming around, but the question is, do I want a Wall of Tangle Cord more than the Soliton? I'd probably play the Soliton over the Phyrexian Hulk though. Would I? Maybe. Actually, I'd play it over this Numbing Dose for sure. So, and the Wall of Tangle Cord, probably not that needed in this deck, so yeah, I'll take the Soliton. I don't think there's a good chance that we're going to wield that Heavy Larvalist though. This R pack came back, and there's still Assist Bearer in this pack. Jeez, this pack was so loaded. Unfortunately, there's not much for us here. There's a Bonds of Quicksilver, but I think we're not really hurting for removal that bad. I'm just gonna keep cutting this whoever's disinfected, if there's anyone at all actually. Wow, the Chrome Seed came back around. I'm gonna take it here because there's nothing else for us, but I'm a little surprised still. Nothing really here. Screeching Silklaw is a flyer, I guess. There's 2 Telegelad Defiance. I don't really care about that. Let's take that then. Okay, so our deck doesn't look that great, but it doesn't look that terrible either. It's got like a pseudo evasion theme going, so hopefully we can generate some good tempo with our couple of bounce spells and just fly over our opponent. Oh wait. Oh, we're in deck building, so. Alright, so take a look at these cards here. Here. Alright, so currently this is the way our deck looks. We got 23 cards in here, not including stuff like Numbing Dose and Mirrodin Spy, so we got just enough playables. The deck doesn't look that great, but I think it can get there. We'll see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 artifacts for Chrome Steed. Kind of want to take it out now. Try and find something a little bit better. Maybe put in the Neurot Command or the Mirrodin Spy. Mirrodin Spy is not that exciting. Then again, like, neither is. We've got 16 creatures. Numbing Dose, I guess, does the job if you need it to. I guess I can combo with an Alkan Anatomist. Turn the Tide. Mirrodin Spy. Neuro Commando. I guess you could play this. It's not the worst. See what comes about. Sickle Slice is a creature. It's a creature. So basically, this is like all creatures and a couple of bounce spells and some equipment. So I guess the Numbing Dose is necessary considering we don't have too much ways of removing creatures. So yeah, I got a couple of these guys. We've got 3 tappers, so our deck is sort of tempo based, and yeah, I guess this is fine. I kind of wish that we had taken any of the other flyers and well, we took the Glinthawk Idol, the fact that it had the Kempa Skyguard, and I wish that Kempa Skyguard would have wheeled. But then, like, there were so many cards in that pack. I think White was really overdrafted in this draft, considering the Kempa Skyguard went, because there was also a Mirror Smith, and I mean, there's so many cards in that pack that we opened. Looking back at it, maybe the Golem Artisan was the best pick for us, but we have a couple of cards in 5 already. But I think the Glinthawk Idol fits our curve better. It lets us do what we want to do better. I don't know if we would have the time to mess around with cards that costed that much, especially something like Gold Mars, and also there was the Nim Death Mantle, which also cost a lot of money, or sorry, a lot of mana in the later periods of the game. So yeah, I don't know. I made my pick. I stick by it. I don't think I would have changed if I went back and did it again. So okay, it's time to add some lands. And Moto suggests 8 and 9, which is probably correct. We might want to switch the numbers a little bit. Yeah, considering we have all one mana blue like one blue symbol cards, except for the numbing dose, which we don't need to get right away, obviously. So I'm gonna switch these numbers around, and 9-8 seems fine. Get our Leo and Sky Hunter out a little bit more consistently, and probably get Glimmer Point Stag when we need it. So yeah, seems okay. There was another opportunity to take the Heavy Arbalist. I'm trying to look back and remember what I took over the Heavy Arbalist. Was it the Sky Hunter? Might have been the Sky Hunter. No, wait, sorry, the Sky Hunter was not in the same pack. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, I think it was the Glimmer Point Stag. We took the Glimmer Point Stag over the Heavy Arbalist, probably. Yeah, seems about right. I think the Glimmer Point Stag gives us decent value here because we can reset a bunch of cards in our deck. And the Glimmer Point Stag, I'm sorry, the Heavy Arbalist only had value if we picked up a Soliton. Even though we did, we couldn't really, bank on getting it. Like, I mean, I guess the Heavy Arbalist is a good card in the late game anyways, but it only really shines when you have a Soliton. Otherwise, it's really clunky and it's hard to manage. So, and it's also one of the reasons why if we're going to take a card like that, we probably would have taken the Golem Artisan over the Glinthawk Idol in that first pack. But anyways, we made our choices, so I'm going to submit this deck and we'll join you back here for round 1.